How's it going, everybody? Rob here, back with another video, and we are going to do a reaction to another Joon the King video. And good lord, with this one, this is gonna be interesting. So, I want to say, like, right off the bat, that a lot of times, especially with Joon the King's videos, he does a lot of his research. He does a lot of research on the, the situation. And I will say, this will probably be no different. This is from Vanity to Insanity, the Onision story. Now, for those who have followed my channel long enough, you guys know that I've done my own content on Onision. Apparently, according to him, I am a ginger, so to speak. Which, kind of ironically, I'm not. But anyway, and as far as I've seen, that dude's kind of like went off the face of the map. I mean, if there's any content at this point, it's re-uploads of old shit. So anyway, we're gonna watch this. Here we go. He is crazy. Wait, hold on. Do that again, because for some reason...
Many tread the inner walls of infamy, but there are few as closely watched and as heavily documented as Onision, with several sites and forums dedicated to his madness, some spanning well over 900 pages archiving every one of his actions. To give a quick overview of this mysterious figure, we start with a former soldier in a banana suit that gained initial popularity for spontaneous antics, and was one of the earliest, most followed content creators on YouTube. His fame extended beyond the platform and seeping into traditional media, but with this attention came his de-evolution.
Yeah, freaking Tosh.0. Dude, that dude freaking gave him a platform. And I want to say this. For those who know, yeah, Tosh.0 was the one that really started Onision's career. And Onision has, for the longest time, had basically rode the coattails of that fame for so damn long.
Into something much more sinister, with a touch of paranoia, exemplified by his various name changes, not only due to his many marriages, but what is speculated to be his intent to hide his identity.
Yeah, he basically changed his name, many different times. He does not like it when you call him Greg, which is his initial name.
He is very open about, and close off to, varying on whether he is involved in one of his many ever-increasing scandals. These range widely.
There were so many scandals.
Manipulation, harassment, and his unfavorable opinions. But these mostly worked in his favor when some scandals and arguments...
That's kind of putting it lightly in terms of, unfavorable opinions.
To top of trend controversies on YouTube, until the accusation...
Wait. Creator who has become YouTube's supervillain called 911 when reporter Chris Hansen knocked on his door and asked him about accusations of grooming underage fans. That is still funny to this day. Seriously. That is so damn funny. Even, I want to say, even the court case where he tried to sue Chris Hansen, and he sued the wrong Chris Hansen.
Became so fierce, and his scandals so poisonous, not even his closest fans or allies could support him. This seemed to be the end for him, until further damning witnesses re-emerged discussing his abusive antics, giving him one final swan song of madness and intention before there is no one left watching and granting him this very video show.
I'll say this though, I mean, in this cusp of, the YouTube drama, there was that documentary that was on Discovery Plus, which I have my thoughts and feelings about that particular thing. And honestly, I'll say this, just to get this off my chest. One, in terms of trying to get more people to watch it, it was stupid to try to put it on one platform, that being Discovery Plus, and also trying to make people pay for it. Number two, they end up interviewing people that really had no involvement of the Onision case, which makes no sense considering, what was going on. So, anyway.
showcasing the rise and fall of Onision. Gregory James Daniel, born November 11, 1985 in Auburn, Washington, was an outcast, with many tragic happenings in his youth. As he claims, at the age of 2, he fell off of a tree.
As he claims. I like that he said that. As he claims, because let's be honest here. Greg has claimed a lot of things that supposedly happened,
resulting in a bloody gash that required serious medical attention. This was the beginning of a long string of unfortunate events, as less than a year later, Daniel's mother filed for a divorce due to her beliefs that Daniel's father was a predator, leaving him
You should put allegedly there.
to grow up with a somewhat religious mother and 2 sisters in a rural farmland of Washington, the same state that he attended elementary school, where he was not very well liked, and did not shy away from altercations as he was involved in several fights throughout his schooling. It was at the age of 11 that Daniel stopped attending his Seventh-day Adventist church, but still stood by with some of his ex-religious ideologies, such as his avoidance of drugs and alcohol, and later his adoption of vegetarianism. From here, he began forming his own spiritual beliefs. Now in his teens, Daniel began experimenting with graphic design, website creation, and music composition. Being tech-savvy at the age of 14, Daniel created his first operational website, known as The Cries of the Crypt, a website
Cries of the Crypt,
music, pictures, and other forms,
which I think I've heard about this before,
of media. Anyone needing to reach him would address him as his online alias, Oddicon, a mixture of the word odd and Oddicon, a character from the trending video game series Metal Gear Solid, a series that Daniel took a liking to. Soon after the creation of his website, Daniel goes to live with his father in Ohio, but after a 6-month tenure, things devolve.
Freaking A, Ohio.
As Daniel begins dating one of his fellow classmates, Christina.
Yeah, I'll say this. As someone who has lived in Ohio before, you know what? I'll say this. It's not that bad. But the moment it starts snowing, people don't know anything in terms of driving. Like, no joke.
Which his father refused to let see. Daniel reciprocating with an insult to his stepmother, leading to a fight between him and his stepfather that resulted in Daniel
allegedly
being sent to juvenile hall. And
wait, what was that text?
A fight between him and his stepfather that resulted
biological father. Yeah, I'm just gonna say allegedly.
In Daniel being sent to juvenile hall, and after his departure from juvenile hall, Daniel and Christina broke up, and he went back to live with his mother in Washington, where he later began to attend high school. And being back, living with his mother, meant that he had his equipment set up at his mother's home. He created 2 new websites. Hyperdrive, where he shared his literature and music, and Metal Gear Solid 2, Substance, a fan site for the Metal Gear Solid series, frequented by those who enjoy discussing video games. But these guest visits of the site weren't always pleasant. A member of the website, claiming to have clashed with Daniel, describes him as erratic, with a short temper, getting angry if anyone questioned, criticized, or contradicted him. According to this account, Daniel managed his sites with an iron fist, and did not shy away from banning regular members.
He's calling him Daniel now.
Some criticizing him on his newfound belief, Seseska, a religion developed by Daniel, who held
that's right, his religion!
The following year, along with the creation of many other sites and changing his online alias from Oddcon to Mr. Odd, Daniel created Seseska.com, a website to promote his religion, no doubt influenced by his high school Earth Club. One of the main ideologies of his religion can be found in this excerpt. Quote, "The main reason for our existence is the beautiful truth. We are all created to nurture our planet and each other." Unquote. But his religion had several reaching ideologies, making up new terms such as Divant, Zodins, and Savants, defined by Daniel as opposed to himself that has been granted the honor of being awarded a human body to dwell in. Due to Daniel's promotional nature of his religion, some friends became more distant from him, and in an uncorrelated event, he broke up with his girlfriend at the time, leading her to become another of Daniel's many exes, and began dating his
There was a lot of exes.
Someone he would date past high school graduation, where he graduated high school with a mediocre 2.5 grade point average. Deciding not to attend college, Daniel looked for development in other avenues, sticking to what he knew best. As at the start of 2005, he worked on producing content for one of his largest personal websites, MrOdd.com. This site hosted music, photos, literature, and of course, video. But like many early content creators at the time, his videos were sporadic in theme, some featuring his girlfriend Sky and heavily modified dolls as the focus of the video, others with hardly any theme at all, like this nonsensical Let's Play Ask recording of the video game Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
But this did not pay the bills. Looking for work,
Yeah, something that's always like kind of like bugged me It's like, anybody watching this, I gotta ask, if you were a fan of Onision, what did you find funny about him? Like, I'm not trying to sound like an ass or anything. I'm actually genuinely curious. Like, in terms of his content, what did you find funny? Like, what do you think his objective of comedy was? I'm very, very, very curious.
Daniel joined the U.S. Air Force on April 13, 2005, and a little over a month later completed his basic military training. Shortly after this, he proposed to Sky, which he said yes to, and he set off to his next step of training.
I mean, well, he didn't actually completely complete it.
That his performance at basic training was above average allowed him to volunteer for SEER training, or Survival Evasion Resistance.
Oh, here we go, SEER.
A course meant for those who are considered to be at high risk at capture due to their elite nature. Recalling his experience, Daniel mostly enjoyed his time training and was at times during several mile-long hikes in front of the pack while carrying around 65 pounds of stones. But his rising status in the military hit an eventual wall. Part of the SEER training was the requirement to kill a rabbit. Daniel, refusing to do so, being a conscientious objector, left the program, and instead was tasked with creating the SEER website, to then later train to become military police. Now back at home, tinkering with his websites in late 2005, Daniel changed his alias one last time to Oni, meaning one, and Sion, meaning divine community. Put together, it's one divine community, or...
It's funny that, he calls himself that.
Onision. Also around this time, Onision married Sky and moved to a new house in Oklahoma where he was stationed. It was here where he found a new platform for his videos, a fledgling video sharing website known as YouTube, and created the Onision YouTube channel on January 29, 2006. But he posted scarcely on his channel and often deleted videos he did not like. In fact, all of the videos from 2006 had been deleted. He also attempted to distance himself from his failed religion, Seseska, and instead converted Seseska.com into a website to host his music. Back to his military life, Onision volunteered for several military deployments, but did not get a single one. Until in 2007, he volunteered for South Korea and got it, leading him to be stationed at Osan Air Force Base in South Korea. But this was not an improvement. Onision resented his time there and experienced such turmoil that only a few months after deployment, he attempted suicide.
As messed up as that is, I hate to be that guy, but allegedly, because if this is all if this is all information from Onision himself, I mean, let's be fair. I mean, let's be fair here. Onision has gone on record to say that, he lies. So.
But after deciding not to go through with it, he found solace in his YouTube channel, something he switched his focus to and tried to find various ways to be discharged from the Air Force. After his suicidal breakdown, he was given 30 days of leave. When he finally returned, Onision filed for a conscientious objector status so he could be discharged. A couple months later, now in 2008, in a fit of frustration and still waiting for his status to be approved, Onision stripped naked in his boss's office in an attempt to show he was human and not some machine. This earned...
Okay, that does sound like him. I mean, as ridiculous as that story was the first time I heard it, at this point, that sounds like him.
Earned him about 10 minutes
with what we've seen thus far of him.
Were thinking of what route to take with him. In the end, they decided a demotion from senior airman to airman first class was suitable for his actions. But luckily, Onision had YouTube to balance out the negatives in his life. With his videos, the majority of them being sketches, being considerably well shot, edited, and overall well produced, in comparison with the average 2008 YouTube video, Onision's skits earned him a small following and a steady growth of subscribers, surpassing 100 subscribers in the earlier months of 2008. His wife Sky also jumped on, not only with cameos on Onision's YouTube channel, but also on her own channel known as Tentaga, though her channel was minuscule in size comparison to Onision, with some of his videos receiving several thousands of views, enough to get him to well over 1,000 subscribers by July of 2008. This number was only boosted by his first true viral video, a music video titled I'm So Gamer, parentheses, Onision song, close parentheses. Though he had made several music videos in the past, parodying many subcultures of society, his references to many forms of popular media and creative editing hit the algorithm just right, getting over 500,000 views.
Also, I just realized he's not using any audio from the videos, which honestly, I mean, at this point, makes a lot of sense considering the fact that, you know, anything that has Onision's audio, or yeah, anything with audio, it will get flagged for copyright. Or more so, you have Onision thinking that he has reason or motive to flag for copyright.
In the first month that it was up. This mostly due to it allegedly being featured on the front page of YouTube for a brief time.
Good lord.
This video's ratings were split down the middle. Some people calling it creepy or claiming Onision was ignorant about gaming. But
yeah, he was.
Negative responses hardly mattered, as it is believed that this video pushed his channel from a lingering 1,000 subscribers to well over 4,000 in the time span of a month. Simultaneously, he was still trying to get fired. One of his efforts toward this goal was this video, uploaded to YouTube titled, "I'm So Death Machine." But this, like many other of his efforts, were fruitless. Not to say his goal was not achieved. On October of 2008, after serving 3 years and 4 months in the Air Force, Onision was given a general discharge due to him being a conscientious objector. The loss of his job put Sky at...
I feel like there's more to this. You know, I will say this for a lot of people, including myself. A lot of people think there's more to this story with him, you know, just being a conscientious objector.
Onision in some financial struggle, with Onision relying on the experimental YouTube Partner Program and Sky, now the breadwinner of the household, working full-time as a caregiver for the developmentally disabled. As with most financial struggles, kinks began to show in their seemingly perfect relationship, as Onision began making irregular requests, such as pressuring Sky into reducing her working hours so she could see him an estimated 80% of his time off work. This time not including the time spent making videos together, something that, for Onision, was a sound investment, and later convinced Sky to quit her job and work full-time on the channel, as by the end of 2008, Onision had accumulated around 10,000 subscribers. He also further expanded his reach by creating the Onision Archive on December 3rd, 2008, a channel with the purpose of hosting bloopers and deleted videos from his main channel. But not even this channel was safe from his sporadic video deletion binges, a habit that would only increase in frequency. To replace them were his daily video uploads that always seemed to try to mimic what was trending at the time. For example, Chibi, a parody of the hyperactive character Fred, who, as Fred does, has a signature high-pitched voice and nonsensical commentary.
Hi everyone, my name is Chibi Derp and I'm going to show you an awesome trick that I just learned.
How is this funny?
This, with a mixture of his traditional content, mostly including music videos, boosted his channel to around 30,000 subscribers on August of 2009. The same month, Onision made his third channel, Onision Speaks. This done with almost perfect timing.
Oh god.
His commentary and other heavily opinionated videos began to hit the platform with wide success, along with picking many controversial topics for discussion were videos of his newly found vegetarianism combined with his shaming and admitted manipulation attempts to convert others to vegetarianism.
Oh god.
I am yelling at large groups of people trying to scare them and guilt trip them into becoming vegetarian. I do not do this in all of my videos, however these tactics do exist in some of my videos. And while I am well aware that a lot of you do not believe this is an effective strategy, the results speak for themselves, and those results are people who...
Yeah, no, you didn't win any arguments, dude.
...who have commented on my videos and emailed me stating that they have gone vegetarian.
Allegedly.
As quite a few of you know, I tend to be a rather honest person.
Yeah, I tend to be... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna... I want to find a video. For the longest time, I've literally had, you know, content archived from Onision. In the event that I were to ever do any content from him. And there's one in particular in terms of this stuff. Just pulling up real quick. But Dude, it's always funny when he likes like, oh, I'm being honest. I'm being like, dude, no. You're not. There's a difference between being honest and being kind of an asshole. And that's the main, I think that's the main point. So, I'm gonna try to find this. Okay, here it is. I'm just gonna play the audio. I'm not gonna show the video, but so you guys can hear it. That's if it plays. Come on. And like I said, I have quite a bit on here. And it's been here for quite a bit. Okay, here we go.
Hi there, I'm Onision, and I'm fake as fuck. Actually, hold on, I gotta put my makeup on real quick. There we go, that's slightly better or worse, but...
You guys can't see it, but yeah, he put makeup on.
Hold on, let me fix my hair. Gosh, there we go, am I more relatable yet? Anyway, I'm making this video to point out something. I'm sorry, let me try that again. Anyway, I'm making this video to point out something. A lot of people have been writing me concerned that I'm super depressed as of late. But the reality is, more often than not, I control whether or not I look depressed. Case in point. I am sick and tired of these accusations that I'm some kind of predator. It's absolutely offensive that people would assume that I'm some kind of disgusting freak just because I tell people whether or not they're fat or skinny or healthy looking based on the photos they of their own free will submit to me. Hey, look at that, now I'm completely fine. So here's the thing with me and most all YouTubers on YouTube. We make a video, we upload a video, and then we see how you respond.
So yeah, basically, you know, yeah, no, he's fake as fuck. Alright, continuing.
So in combination with his various DMCA takedown requests of videos about him that he did not agree with infuriated viewers and other content creators. Seen covering this issue was the channel, The Veganic Witch.
Okay, let's see, hold on. So, damn it, now I want an enormous cup of cocoa as well. Back to the topic at hand. However, Onision is a tool for being too cowardly to hear what other people have to say. Enjoy your cocoa. Must contain... What the fuck? All I can say is, well said. Don't file false DMCAs if you don't have a reason to, and it's idiotic to do so just because we don't agree with him. The statements above were made in accordance with fair use, and okay.
What Onision did, then, because he can't cope with opposing views, because he can't have an open conversation. There was, you know, just something in his upbringing or education which makes him incapable of coping with the fact that when you say a statement, sometimes you get a statement back, and you may not like it. You know, you can't cope with that. So what he did was, he filed a false DMCA claim against Idiotech93, who has done nothing wrong.
Which means a removal of a video, and which means A, removal of a video, and B, a strike against the user's channel.
He's looking to fair use, and he's been contacted by the DMCA abuse channel, and they've assessed what's happened, and they agree.
This camera rocks overall.
Okay. Claim.
But videos like these received little attention. Onision was mostly loved by the YouTube community, and was further
not
supported
anymore.
by his massive stream of new subscribers that found his comedic skits and music videos endearing, some of which came from his collaborations. Possibly the most significant was his collaboration with Shane Dawson, a rising channel that was also part of the growing alternate YouTube community. And after making several comments through his videos in an attempt to get Shane Dawson's attention, Onision uploaded the now deleted video, Dawson Freak, where he reacts to an email.
Yo, I'm gonna say this. Onision is one of the prime examples of the worst people getting notoriety. there's been, I mean, unfortunately, there's been quite a few people who have gained notoriety in terms of, like, fans and, you know, their content. And in 90, I want to say a good chunk of the time, they are complete shitheads. If not, like, 100% of the time, they are shitheads to family, friends, fans, etc. And again, Onision is the prime example of, you know, just somebody who did not appreciate or did not deserve the notoriety that he got.
Shane sent him. This led to a collaboration in video form on their respective channels, both accumulating a substantial amount of views and attention.
Hey everyone, you're watching Onision's channel.
Oh my god, Shane!
Home of the Shane Dawson wannabe bitch.
Yeah, so how are you? Shane Dawson on the Onision channel?
Alright, that's all you paid me for.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
One line.
But...
Sorry.
No, Shane,
See you later, bitch.
This collaboration, along with a few others, skyrocketed Onision's channel, as just in about a month's time, he gained 70,000 subscribers, more than double.
Where is Shane Dawson?
Reaching a grand total.
I just realized, like, Shane Dawson, like, kind of dropped off the face of the planet. As well as a few other creators back in the day. Jesus.
120,000 subscribers by January of 2010. He further expanded his online presence by advertising his blog, music, Onision forums, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, and his merchandise, which was primarily shirts. But again, this was minuscule in comparison to what he would obtain in the following months.
Dude, I swear, if in the event that, like, I and the crew, you know, somehow garnered a large fan base, that's if that ever happened. I'm like, I would never know what to, like, make for shirts. I mean, I would want to make sure that people have something entertaining, but overall, I don't know what would be the best way to go about that.
Which was mostly thanks to the Banana song, also known as I'm a
Oh,
Banana.
God.
A music video following Onision's traditional theme of heavily edited, considerably well-produced, nonsensical music. But it wasn't until the earlier months of 2010 that it began to gain traction, due in large part to its appearance on the popular Comedy Central show, Tosh.0.
Shouldn't have been posted on there.
Reacting to viral videos on the internet. The episode displaying Onision's video aired on February 3rd, 2010.
By the way, every video that's ever been sent to us has been awful. This week's submission, like every week, we found. It comes to us from Onision.
Dad! I'm a banana!
You're a what?
I'm a banana!
How about your clothes?
I'm a banana! I'm a banana!
Alongside the banana video that appeared on television
God.
was one of his clips asking people to donate to the victims of the Haiti earthquake, which was featured on Fox News, where the news anchors asked the viewers to be aware of scam artists.
I forgot about that. He was so butthurt.
I hope that you donate too.
These broadcasts brought more attention to his channel and consequently more revenue.
I keep getting asked the how much do you make on YouTube question on forumstring.me. It's kind of a rude question, but because it's asked so much, I just want to make this video so hopefully it won't be asked anymore. The answer is that I make enough to get by. I spend over $2,000 a month on my home and my car and everything, and I survive. I don't see why anyone needs to know more. I'm not rich, if that's your question.
But this also had its adverse effects, with Onision feeling that he had transcended his status on YouTube and become a celebrity because of his appearance on television. Though in some aspects, he was correct. His video's appearance on Tosh.0 allowed him to reach a wider audience of viewers who would not frequent YouTube, which is when Shiloh comes in. A
Yeah,
16-year-old
Lord.
rising Canadian pop star that had already obtained a platinum album in Canada, and became aware of Onision after watching his clip on Tosh.0, and developed an interest in his content. Later, as many others, becoming an avid viewer of his YouTube videos, something not uncommon during 2010, as Onision made it to the top 100 most subscribed channels on YouTube. With her ever-increasing interest in Onision, in April 2010, a 16-year-old Shiloh emailed the 25-year-old Onision asking for relationship advice as she was dating a verbally abusive schizophrenic,
Good
who
Lord.
she broke up with shortly after sending the email. This email piqued Onision's interest after he had learned of her achievements. This led to his response and led to heavy communication between the two, mostly over Skype, and sometimes up to 10 hours a day. This
Jesus.
friendship slowly turning into an emotional affair. It is believed that this led to Onision to threaten a divorce with Sky on June of 2010 after she stated that because of their marriage and her work on the channel, half of Onision's assets were hers, including the channel.
Yep.
Having Shiloh as a backup plan and furious at Sky's remarks, Onision began creating his own contract for divorce, which he put to use on December of 2010. This is believed to be Sky's recollection of the events, including Onision's friend and fellow content creator, Seer. Quote, Seer got sick and I drove him to the hospital. Didn't even care his friend caught the flu. Just kept laughing and giggling in his office. After this, he took me aside one night and told me the following. Sky, now quoting Onision, I'm going to divorce you because I finally found real happiness. I never loved you and was just afraid of being alone. If you want me to be happy, you'll let me do what I want. End of quote for Onision and back Sky, of which I clearly
Good
remember
lord.
his face, cold as a lizard on ice, dead-eyed, wand with a smirk. Unquote. Onision then introduced her to his crafted divorce papers, offering her $12,000 over the period of a year, or covering all her living expenses for 2 years. Distraught with the sudden situation, Sky signed the papers and began the process of moving out. These divorce papers will later be dismissed in replacement with traditional divorce papers, having Onision pay $90,000 in alimony, something
wrecked.
Onision would vehemently contest throughout the years. Regardless, and initially Onision was overjoyed.
Yeah, he was very butthurt about that. He thought he would get away with, a cheap freaking divorce, but nope. He got freaking owned for that.
As he had, the day prior, professed his love to Shiloh and prepared for a separation. First with this announcement.
That was
She
disgusting.
and I have decided to get a divorce. For many, many reasons. Maybe I'll explain them in a later video, but I just want all of you
Audio has echo.
to know that she and I are still friends. And I do still love her and care for her.
You
It's
guys
just
are
that
no longer
we're not
friends.
really compatible. And so, for that reason, and a lot of more specific reasons, I filed for divorce.
Now free from his marriage, Onision began to drive to Pennsylvania to meet Shiloh for the first time. The reason he chose Pennsylvania was because of the relatively relaxed age of consent laws. But
I think that was the biggest point that a lot of people were kind of concerned about, is that Onision, meeting Shiloh in a certain state that had lesser restricted age of consent laws. Because I think certain state, depending on what state you're in, the age of consent is different. So, areas like Pennsylvania will have a lower. So, age of consent in Pennsylvania is 16 years old. Or 16 years of age for statutory SA and 18 years for corruption of minors. So, yeah.
during his drive, ran into an issue. Well, not an issue, but a deer, making it the first notable animal he killed, and going against his own beliefs to never harm a living creature. With his car now wrecked, Onision purchased an airplane ticket and flew for the remaining trip, to then encounter Shiloh for the very first time. Immediately after opening the hotel door, he kisses her and they have sexual intercourse. Not wasting a second, he sets up his recording equipment and makes a short 1-minute video about him killing the deer. The significance of this video is that Shiloh, who he's not supposed to be seeing, is heard in the back giggling.
So yeah, this is me admitting that I have officially, assisted a deer in killing itself. That's not funny. No, I'm laughing. That's not funny. That's horrible. I felt like crap. Anyway, you'll see in the next Onision video.
Oh, Lord.
Pretty much what I went through. So long as I didn't accidentally not record it and think I recorded it. Thanks for watching. Hate me or love me. This is who I am. The deer killer. You call me a killer now?
But the hotel grew suspicious of Onision's intentions and called the police, who then went through Onision's equipment looking for any illegal content and questioned why he was with a minor. The police, lacking any evidence, sent Shiloh and Onision home. But Onision did not like this separation, as less than a month later, from the revenue of his massive 500,000 subscriber channel, he moved into an apartment in Canada with Shiloh, which he later introduced to his fanbase. This not only put him closer to Shiloh, but also distanced him from some of his overly attached fans, that at times would leave things at his doorstep. But his move to Canada was only temporary, as Shiloh's 18th birthday was spent waiting in a hotel room next to the airport so that Onision could fly her out of Canada to Seattle without her concerned mother's consent. But as Shiloh recalls, this was a massive mistake. She was now distanced from her mother, hometown, and management. Onision successfully isolating her. In the months following, from lacking the ability to work from the constant bother of Onision, she had failed to produce further songs and was dropped by her management.
Oh,
Meaning that
jeez.
she had effectively
I forgot
lost
about
much of
that.
her music career she had built up. But things got much worse. After intercourse, something more than common in their household happening up to 8 times a day, and while Shiloh was in the shower, Onision called Shiloh medically obese and that he wasn't attracted to her because he was attracted to small-bodied Asian women and said that she needed to lose weight. After this, Onision promptly left her crying and hyperventilating in the shower.
That's really fucked up.
Which is when she had a stress-induced seizure, resulting in her losing about 3 years of her memory. His initial reaction to her memory loss and strange behavior was
is
to
this
record
the way? Oh, is he talking about the
This is
video?
now deleted
Oh
recording.
God! Ah! I think this still pisses off a lot of people. Cause like, if you see somebody in this state where they literally lost like the 3 years, and it was caused by him too, so it's like you have somebody who you're supposed to care about lose 3 years of their fucking life, and they're in this kind of state. Your immediate reaction should be to call somebody for help, not fucking get your camera and fucking record the whole thing. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Recording.
Don't I make a rainbow?
Charlotte, can you look at me? Please?
Once she regains consciousness and is panicked, Onision allows her to browse the web, mainly Onision's YouTube channel for proof of their relationship and Facebook for the proof of the 3 years she had forgotten. It wasn't so much the exploitative nature of posting a private medical situation that infuriated many viewers, but more so the fact that Onision did not seek out professional medical attention due to Shiloh's request not to do so, leaving Shiloh in a potentially dangerous state, others finding it hard to believe that this was not a hoax or views. This situation introducing the Onision Drama Tumblr, where fans actively archived Onision's many dramas, and also
Good
introducing
lord.
one of Onision's longest-running adversaries, Repsion, who with
Repsion!
much annoyance commented on the situation.
My emotion right now and my frustration towards this idiotic, pathetic, scumbag, douchebag known as Onision. Oh, wait, no, I can't even say his name now. Onision.
Onision.
Grow up.
Yeah.
Take
Dude.
some responsibility. Grow some responsibility. And take your wife to the hospital right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
I think that was generally like a lot of people's freaking reaction to that video. It's like, dude, you see her in that state, get her fucking help. Don't freaking, sit there and fucking record the whole situation. Get off your lazy ass and fucking do it.
In fact, I pray, Onision, that you never have kids.
This put further
And he had kids.
strain on Onision and Shiloh's relationship. Only about a week after the situation, and after Onision had shaved her head nearly bald, Onision announced that he broke up with Shiloh, and so began what many fans perceived to be a smear campaign on Shiloh, led by Onision. With her threatening to talk about Onision and his mental abuse, it is believed he attempted to destroy any of her credibility while simultaneously weaponizing his fans to harass her into submission. One
Good
of these
lord.
videos was titled, The Truth, showing an emotional Shiloh calling the police in contrast
Oh god,
to
this
Onision's
video
calm
too.
demeanor. When the police finally arrived, witnessing the contrast of emotions, they side with Onision.
What you have done to me is irreversible. You have destroyed any way for me to support myself. I have nothing. You have destroyed me.
Can you take a step back?
No.
I'm backed into a corner.
Then you have to promise to listen to me.
I'm saying, please, excuse me.
You're going to listen to me.
Yeah, open the door for the police.
Dude, just like the cold freaking, like, how he speaks is so cold and emotionless.
You've destroyed me. Everything that you do isn't real. Your career is being finished. Trust me, I'm capable of it. Now I actually want to destroy you because you destroyed me. You're done. And then you'll be left in the dark.
The cops showed up minutes later.
You called. I called my sister and she told me to just leave. So just leave here. I mean, this is a good idea. Yeah. But here's the weird thing. I can't stop him until he's here. I can't shut it off because that would be an illegal addiction according to the people I talk to. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll just have to move to LA. Because I'm gonna work down there. And keep paying utilities and hope my house is abandoned. Yeah, you went there. She refuses to leave, so I don't know. Well, the only way you can get her out is with an eviction or a court order. Yeah, so Yeah, I have to work every day. I work full time, same day. So. Well, you gotta get your priorities and say, hey, well, this situation will continue on your own. And then once you've made that determination, you need to take a step to move either this way or this way. And in order for me to continue doing that, I have to do this United. Okay. So I'm just gonna go to LA as soon as possible. And what has changed since the cops came out for us? She threatened to kill herself in the time. Okay. And she got started on. What did she say? She said that she said I was on the phone with my Aunt Kelly and she threatened to kill herself and I had to call the cops and she said that what did you say exactly? You said something, you said you were gonna make it look really bad or something? Did you threaten to kill yourself? How come? That's not what
Freaking A.
To repeat events similar to this and Shiloh threatening to commit suicide to spite Onision, she was taken to a mental care facility, where after a phone call with her mother was picked up and returned to Canada, leaving Onision once again single, something that he very much loved being, so much so.
I mean, he would be single a lot. I mean, every so often he'd show how creepy he is. Alright, random transition. Also, I shaved.
So that he emailed Sky in an attempt to re-establish a connection, but it was done in vain. For the rest of the time, not attempting to find a partner, but spent editing the videos for multiple hours a day for his thriving YouTube channel, which had grown exponentially to the point that it was expected of him to attend VidCon, a convention attended by various content creators.
Oh, here we go.
On YouTube, encompassing the majority of them. And so he did, creating many memories for his fans, like his kiss with Shane Dawson and his unique choice of clothing, including a bulletproof vest, showing that he was visibly paranoid of being assassinated for his views or controversies. After this, and after
the dude was freaking nuts.
a few failed relationships, on September 26, 2011, to the dismay of Onision's fans, he announced that him and Shiloh were back together and engaged, leaving split reaction from viewers, marking another controversial, soon-to-be-deleted video on Onision's channel. This started a slow-building tide of hatred towards Onision, as just within the next month, he lost a strong ally after flying to LA to do a collaboration with Shane Dawson, only to be ignored and to fly back home, splitting his fanbase further once he later announced his feud with Shane Dawson, especially for those that found him through Shane. On top of this, he also...
Yeah, a lot of people that were once associated with Onision cut ties. Like, if I remember, Seer was one of them. He stopped, interacting with Onision. Jack and Glenn, who interacted with him a couple times, realized how creepy he was.
Lost his spot on the top 100 most subscribed channels on YouTube. His grip also weakening on Shiloh, starting with a gleeful pregnancy announcement in October, to a somber miscarriage announced in December, and Onision mistakenly believing Shiloh had sepsis due to some miscommunication, when in reality she was only at risk of it.
Hey guys, for the next few days there's not going to be any Onision uploads, which is very abnormal because I kept to my schedule for years now. I'm just making this video to let you all know that when Shiloh was blood tested in regards to whether or not she was pregnant, and it concluded that she was going to miscarry, unfortunately. Results came up that concluded she had sepsis, or has sepsis. So it got to her blood, urinary infection, and now we have to rush her to the hospital in Canada, which she'll be on a plane very soon. So I'm going to spend the remainder of
why
the time
Canada?
that Shiloh has here with her, rather than...
I mean, if you guys are already, because I think this was still Washington State, I believe. I can't remember, but whatever state you're in, I mean, why would you have to rush her to Canada when there are plenty of hospitals in the area? That makes no sense.
Editing videos like I normally do.
He then quickly altered the announcement due to the many corrections of his fans, and was again attacked for filming what many believe to be such a personal moment, which is when Shiloh flew back to Canada and was taken to a hospital due to the miscarriage. While there, her mother took this opportunity to hide her passport to prevent her return to Onision. Whenever Shiloh tried to get a new one, her mother would distract her from it. Her mother...
I mean, the mom was... I mean, let's be fair here. The mom kind of realized how much of a POS he was.
Managed to prolong this long enough to the point that Onision and Shiloh broke up, but not before Onision had wired her around $2,000 for a new passport and living expenses. Now in the earlier months of 2012...
Okay. Had to stop again. I was called away. Alright, let's continue.
It was too late for a reconnection with Onision, as Shiloh had already reconnected with her family and started dating someone new. Onision would later try to get her to appear on the popular American courtroom television show Judge Judy to try to recuperate his $2,000, but was later denied due to her being in Canada. Then,
Yeah.
for the final time, in February of 2012, Onision claimed they broke up, though Shiloh claims that their breakup happened 2 months ago, which led to future claims of emotional cheating that Shiloh admitted to. This breakup announcement came to fans in the form of a music video. Fans either tired or not caring about the drama were more enthralled with the confused photobomber in the background that Onision had possibly failed to notice and created somewhat of a new meme. More ex-girlfriend related issues popped up at the start of 2012 when his constant attacks on his exes created a group of detractors rallying against him, gaining
I mean, to be fair, I mean, a lot of people were not happy with his shit.
enough attention to remove him as a speaker and later bar him from attending VidCon due to
Yep.
VidCon not wanting to be responsible for Onision's safety.
Hey guys, I have been removed from the list of speakers on the VidCon site.
Well, I think the major reason for that was due to the fact that, you know, with some of the things he said and some of the things he presented were very, very damaging to a lot of people in terms of what his topics on eating healthy, or, you know, people's body, how his personal opinion on, you know, what counts as a healthy individual and so on. In terms of like mental health and, you know, again, various topics that a lot of people did not agree with.
And I was recently contacted by someone who represents VidCon. What they said was that I was removed because parents were complaining. They weren't necessarily complaining about me being at the event as much as they were complaining about me being a speaker. And I say this because that's why they contacted VidCon in the first place.
But nonetheless, he still had his supporters who denounced VidCon.
Anonymous asked, I wonder if Shane Dawson has anything to say about Greg's dig at him in his censorship video. Now that Greg's been banned and tried to take Shane down with him, his fans have been pulling the same shtick on VidCon's Facebook to try to take Shane down too.
But this year did have its positives. One of his videos was again featured on TV. This time on the show, Ridiculousness, an MTV comedy show showcasing the host and his various celebrity guests reacting to videos from the internet.
Good God.
This brought more attention to him, and with more attention,
why?
And began finally opening communication with one of his extremely attached longtime fans, Taylor, a 17-year-old high school student from New Mexico, but was hesitant to meet her due to her age, and allegedly consulted with a lawyer to make sure it was permissible to meet. So if you
You know, that's a red flag. I mean, considering the past couple of times in terms of, like, people's thoughts on him about, you know, him possibly grooming people, I mean, that's a major red flag. And if he has to, like, you know, go to his lawyer and, like, oh, like, is it okay for me to meet with this, you know, dude, you're a creep. He was a creep.
Weeks later, during March of 2012, a 26-year-old Onision flew out to New Mexico to meet a 17-year-old Taylor, but Onision, attempting to play it safe, turned this into a long-distance relationship, where later, with Taylor's family being unaware of it, renting a place in New Mexico to live with Taylor and even proposing to her, which she accepted, to then get married
Good
under
God.
the Mexico court system, and both legally changed their last names to Avero, and began addressing Taylor as Lainey, most likely due to her Twitter handle, LaineyBot. Lainey's family and Onision's fans entirely unaware of these happenings, only for it to be leaked the same month of their marriage.
Yeah, like, literally, her family had no clue about it.
In previous relationships, Onision moved back to his home state of Washington with his new wife, fans noticing a pattern in his relationships, as he seemed to always discredit his exes as soon as he was in a new public relationship, this time smearing both Sky and Shiloh indirectly. Sky by her alimony payments, comparing it to slavery, and Shiloh by claiming she abused animals.
So before I didn't really go in depth as to why I didn't just give the puppy over to the other person who allegedly owned him. In fact, that very same individual tried to claim him when I said I was getting rid of him, and my thoughts were, Lynch, you are going nowhere near that puppy. And the reason I didn't want her to go anywhere near the puppy if I was not able to directly observe her interactions with him is because I know about her history with animals, and I think I've mentioned this before. To her credit, she told me these things were true, and she's a pathological liar, so maybe they're not. I don't know.
Good Lord. There's so much wrong with that. Again, allegedly. I mean, all we're hearing is from his point of view, but considering some of the things we've seen him, or at least have happened with his quote-unquote exes, it tells a much greater story on him and his behaviors.
The first thing my ex did to animals. She said she took hairspray and sprayed her goldfish and just watched it die. Who does that? Nobody. But who would forgive a person for doing something like that? Me, because I'm stupid. Thing number 2. She said she once held a small animal and, like, hugged it with her hands so tight that it died, like it choked to death or something.
The comments he made were done through his many YouTube accounts that, put together, had over 1 million subscribers by December of 2012. The newest addition being Uh-Oh Bro, a sort of Let's Play gaming channel capitalizing on the Let's Plays thriving on the site at the time. And while he was still producing music videos and other skits on his main channel, he mostly focused on listicles, following the format of top 10 things I hate about X, while still creating
Good
very
lord.
personalized videos, some strictly focusing on answering fan questions. But not all of his answers were well received. Take for example this clip, where he deems that a 17-year-old fan's depression, which was caused by an abusive mother, was their own fault.
Oh, this one. This clip. Good lord.
Hi, Onision. How can I cope with a verbally and emotionally abusive mother? I'm 17, I've been hospitalized twice because of suicidal thoughts, depression caused by the words my mother would say to me. First of all, I don't think you can really blame your suicidal thoughts / depression on anyone but yourself, because that individual could say the same horrible things to another person and they wouldn't have the same response. So you have to take some accountability and realize that if you focus on being stronger and not letting it get to you, that you'll be much better off. And in that, it seems like the real blame falls on you, because the bottom line is the person with the most control over you is you and not her. So don't you think the person with the most power and control in a situation where some kind of crime or bad thing occurs should be held to the highest level of responsibility or accountability? I would assume so. Like, your mom could probably say a lot of horrible things to me, and I'm not going to be suicidal.
Yeah, but that's you, dude. But it's like, that's not your mom, though. I think that's the biggest factor, is the fact that, you know, in that situation, I mean, we go to our parents for support and to learn from. To have a person, you know, who's your parent, basically, you know, just treat you like garbage. How do you actually cope with that? A lot of times, it all depends on each person. There's always a different scenario with each individual. But it's like that type of freaking, you know, advice where it's like, oh, it's your fault that you're being abused, is so wrong in so many levels.
Clips like these were massively circulated throughout the commentary community, bringing further negative attention to Onision. One such commentator was Repsion, a massive critic of Onision, who gained much attention in May of 2013 due to an accusation of him being Onision's so-called snail mail stalker, a person who, after failing to email Lainey's parents, or rather Onision's in-laws, formatted his email into a letter form and sent it through snail mail. When opened by Onision's in-laws, they found a warning them about Onision and his treatment of his ex-girlfriends, with various sources directing to Onision and Lainey's marriage document, name change, and travels, and other unusual things she had done with Onision.
Yeah.
After they read this message, they contacted Lainey in return of the mysterious letter, who then informed Onision about the situation. Onision,
which, if I remember correctly, Repsion did apologize for that. He did. I mean, in a sense, he felt. If I remember correctly, don't completely quote me, but I do believe he said that he did feel bad, somewhat feel bad about that situation, but was more so concerned about, you know, what was going on with Lainey at the time.
And then making a video on it.
Hey guys, if you didn't know, I've actually had this little stalker on YouTube for a while, and he's a pretty creepy dude. He's made a lot of videos about me, and it's kind of disgusting. Anyway, so something this creepy dude...
Okay, I need to comment on that, because it's always funny when it's like, oh, they're creepy because they make video... Like, dude, no. I mean, if that was the case, I mean, that literally can be, you know, directed right back at him, considering how many videos he made on Eugene Cooney, and various other topics, in terms of... Actually, I think, if anything, the thing that really that adds on to his creep factor, like, again, using this argument, is the fact that he made so many, like, judging kids' bodies videos. So, tell me who's creepier.
He did was wrote my in-laws about what a terrible person he believes me to be. And you know what my in-laws did? Well, they told my wife what happened and conveyed the message that it creeped them out. Some total stranger contacts my in-laws, acting as if he knows more about me than they do, even though he's never met me, meanwhile they have.
To which Repsion comments, quote, I wonder if Taylor feels as if she has competition now, unquote, where Onision responds by making a second video claiming that Repsion is the snail mail stalker, but this was later disproven by Repsion, revealing that though earlier Repsion did write his in-laws' parents to Facebook to warn them about Onision, he did not in fact write that letter. Instead, now deleted user...
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I forgot. So it wasn't Repsion. It wasn't Repsion. It was actually TJ Kirk, who is the Amazing Atheist.
Don't stand so close to me, a critic of Onision,
Or no.
sent it. This clash between Repsion and Onision
Oh,
marking
don't
the
stand.
first of
Okay,
many
never
to
mind.
come.
I was wrong.
Also after him was his ever-growing detractor community, one of which sent him a picture of a top.
I thought it was, if I remember correctly, I thought it was TJ Kirk.
Topless girl saying, quote, "I'm a huge fan of your videos. I'm 17 and live in the area and would like to know if I have a shot at maybe being in one of your videos," unquote. To which Onision replied, quote, "Facebook/channel?" unquote. When screenshots of this interaction between him and the fake 17-year-old were released, fans were outraged at Onision. Onision then claiming he did not see the attached screenshot because his Samsung Note 2 does not automatically show attachments. Regardless of his rebuttal, fans were not convinced, though this was just one of the few controversies that he found himself in this year, some relating to a collaboration to create fake drama, albeit seeming to bother him little, as he had more personal matters distracting him, like his wedding in June. The same month, Lady announced to their fans that she was pregnant with Onision's child. But fans were still more interested in Onision's other dramas, like the conflict he had with YouTube content creator SomeGuy827, that revealed Onision is most likely purposely creating drama for the sake of attention and growth of his channel.
There's a clear pattern of you...
That's not some guy, though. That's the Amazing Atheist. That's not some guy, though. I think he got the people confused, or mixed up. Because that's TJ Kirk. I think. TJ Kirk. I'm like now looking up TJ. Let me just quickly check this. Because I got my laptop like right next to me. TJ Kirk. Yeah, oh my god. He looks so much older now. But, yeah. But that's not some guy. I think some guy is still on here. Or not. I guess his channel... Okay. Yeah, so his channel was deleted. And people re-uploaded his content, so... but yeah, no, he... SomeGuy827 was a detractor of Onision as well.
Creating drama, of you continuously creating drama, continuously airing your dirty laundry in public, and now you want to do it on national TV. Like, this is a guy who's eager to get in more drama in front of an even larger audience. It's like it drives him. That's all he wants to do. And I'm like, I'm not participating in this, Onision. I can't even believe that you think that I would do something like this. I can't even believe that you want to do something like this. You know, and he's like, oh, we'll ham it up for the camera, and we'll create all kinds of new drama between us. You know, we'll figure out other reasons we don't like each other, and it'll be really even more unpleasant. I'm like, this isn't a show, Onision. I'm trying to convey a serious message here. When I was going after you, it was because I had legitimate grievances with your actions and behaviors, and it's like he didn't even comprehend that.
Some critics now adopting this theory, with more evidence to back it up provided on September 26, 2013, when Onision had a public falling out with his longtime YouTube friend, Seer.
Oh, here we go.
Arguments from his ex-friends, Steve Fizzy and Shane Dawson, going as far as to make a lengthy post about it on his website, Onision.com. This marks the end of 2013, with another year ending in drama, and his main channel surpassing 1 million subscribers. Now starting off 2014 with the birth of his first child, later making music videos celebrating him. Along with these scattered music videos, 2014 was the year where Onision expanded further on his in-video characters. Most shown are Raw Danger, a sometimes detractor of Onision and mostly exists via Obnoxious, and Emo Charlie, who is calm and most likely modeled around Onision. Later more frequently
Bullshit.
Onision's wife, Lainey, who had her own fans and detractors. Some detractors also of Onision. Both types frequently seen browsing many newly established troll threads that popped up between 2014 and 15, and so began the serious categorizing of all the dramas, with most looking to lifeofonion.com, a Wikipedia-style information archive for current events or random information on Onision. the Onion part of it being a nickname detractors began using in reference to Onision, some choosing to call him by the full nickname, Onion Boy. A large target for their criticisms wasn't just the content they produced for online
Mr. Onion, Onion Boy.
consumption, but also Onision's 2 books that debuted this year. First, on March 29, 2015, was Stones to Abigail, a fictionist
That book is shit.
sort of retelling of his life, and also Why I Hate You, released on September 11, 2015, another fictionist story influenced by his life taking another turn when his wife announced to Twitter that she was bisexual. Onision jumping on to support her, going as far as to say that he supports her getting a girlfriend while she is married to Onision if she chooses to do so. Few concern about her month-old comments about grooming other women. Grooming meaning preparing an underage victim for sexual purposes, usually shortly after they are of legal age. But Lainey was seen being flirtatious with women of all ages. One of them was the 18-year-old Billy, who, after some talking, visited Onision and Lainey at their house where Onision pressured them to kiss, and later pressured them to date, to which Billy accepted.
Oh my god, I forgot about this.
Relationship at the start of 2016, but not before what fans know as Cuddlegate happened. When Billy came over for a second time, Lainey felt that Onision was showing her more affection and became disheartened at the thought, just enough to make her leave for the night. When she returned, she found out about Onision and Billy's cuddling and deemed it cheating. Fans, naturally on her side, made more nicknames for Onision, like Onisi Cook, a combination of Onision and Cook, or a man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, applied to Onision due to him allowing Lainey to have a girlfriend. This situation was further escalated when on January 26, 2016, Onision announced he was separating from Lainey and explained the situation in detail, saying he signed away the rights to his child to Lainey.
Hello, I spoke with Lainey and she agreed to me making this video. Lainey and I are getting separated. Not necessarily divorced just yet, but a lot of things are going to be changing in our lives and we will no longer be in a romantic relationship with one another. Initially this was a mutual agreement, so after I revealed everything...
Is he wearing something on his nose? I just realized, like, look at, there's a line. Just seems like he's wearing like a strip or something.
What has happened over the last couple of days. Lainey made it more than absolutely obvious. There was literally no romantic potential for her and I in the future. In any sense. Lainey and I had a child. I let them down doing all this. The good things that I've done as a response to this, I agreed to pay her a
Good things I've done. Bullshit.
Sum that both she and a close friend of hers agreed was fair. And I also signed a document saying that Lainey has exclusive custody of our child and that I can only see them if she is completely comfortable.
It took only a few days for them to announce that they were attending marriage counseling and getting back together. A few weeks after this, Lainey was for a second time pregnant. Now feeling stable, Onision and Lainey continually invited Billy and Ayala to visit. Ayala was Billy's 19-year-old friend who was offered a nannying job by Onision in order to make Billy's visits more comfortable and to make Billy's return public. Onision posted
Ayala, if I remember correctly, Ayala had a lot to say about Onision towards the end with this whole Billy thing.
Onision, 2 weeks later, talking about his threesome, allowed many viewers to conclude Onision, Lainey, and Billy were in a 3-way relationship. But the situation, like many other happenings in Onision's life, would intensify when a 16-year-old fan, Sarah, a target of one many or non-joking flirtatious acts, visited them on September 15, 2016, and stays about 5 days, then returns home. But about a month later, after discussing her severe private troubles at home with Onision and Lainey, Onision invites her to move in to get away from home. She agrees.
Oh god, power of attorney.
As her mother signed over power of attorney to Lainey, providing money once a month for her living expenses, making Sarah, and sometimes Billy, their live-in nanny to do house chores and to take care of Onision and Lainey's child, while Onision and Lainey mostly focused on content creation. And so began the various tirades Onision did on YouTube content creator Eugenia Cooney on her physique.
Oh fuck.
She for his personality.
Yeah, the whole Eugenia Cooney thing.
And YouTube content creator Jacqueline Glenn for her opinions. But the controversies weren't always online. Within Onision's 3-way relationship, Lainey and Billy were allowed to sleep together without Onision, but Onision was only allowed sexual favors from Billy when Lainey was present. To fight this, Onision slept alone with Billy, which infuriated Lainey, leading to Onision coercing Billy and Ayla to sign a contract that he created to stay for another week so that they could sort things out. But this was unsuccessful, because Ayla convinced Billy of Onision's wrongdoings and called her a newbie, which, after arguing with Onision, left the premises. But her company was soon replaced, as it's estimated sometime during November 2016, Onision and Lainey's second child was born, and right before the year ended, he found himself in yet another scandal, with his recent series asking fans to post photos of themselves on the Onision forum for him to then discuss.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, there was a series of videos where he literally was, you know, telling or asking his audiences to send him half-naked pictures, and he would rate their bodies.
For the sake of body positivity, came away with photos of teenage girls, nearly naked, with Onision painted across their stomach, submitted to the Onision forums.
That's so
Onision
creepy.
Claiming that this was not his intention, as he claims. The website had rules and not barriers, informing users the website was exclusively 18+, and did not allow inappropriate content. At the height of this controversy, Onision announced Billy was back, but was booted shortly after due to her smoking marijuana in celebration of New Year's, as Onision was still heavily against the use of any illegal substance. So at the start of 2017, only a couple weeks after getting back together with Billy, Onision announced that they had broken up yet again, but this time it was permanent. So solidifying it by divulging private and yet sensitive information about Billy due to her and Isla revealing these texts to highlight
Dude, that's so
rules
fucked
that
up.
only allowed two
That's still
candidates
so
per year, and
so
requested
fucked
Billy
up.
to do various humiliating things in order to be taken back. These requests include, but are not limited to, getting a tramp stamp, being chained to the basement for 3 days to a week with a sign around the neck saying, "I'm sorry for lying, Lainey," and lastly, make a video about how she lied to Lainey and about how sorry she is. Billy, declining all propositions, instead released a video asking Onision to stop harassing her.
So,
Yeah.
Onision, please stop harassing me and my best friend. I'm tired of seeing your tweets, tired of being tagged in your tweets, of you just harassing us, telling us we're awful, druggy people. Please leave me alone. Stop talking about me. Don't speak about me in your videos. I'm done. Like, I hope you're happy. You completely destroyed all of my pride. You told me to get a tattoo saying I'm a liar, like a tramp stamp. You told me to shave my head. You told me to dye my hair green, shave off my eyebrows, and get an ugly tan. Like, is that not abusive to you? Do you think that's a fair trade?
No, that is
telling me that I
abuse.
smoked weed? Like, that's what you think is okay? I betrayed your trust? You're mentally abusive to everyone around you. You call people names, you make them feel bad about themselves. I don't understand how you do that and not feel bad about yourself. Like, does that make you happy? Telling people that they're worthless and that they should die because they smoke weed? Like, calling them an idiot because they don't agree with you on something? That's not a sane person. Like,
It's not. It's not.
Like, not even like, I'm not talking about online, I'm talking about me as a person. Like, the fact that you put such private information online for everyone to see that was so confidential. I have told 5 people. 5. And you told all of the internet because you're a salty ass. No! Like, that's not how this should work. Like, you don't feel bad at all. That's the worst part. Like, you're just a shitty person who likes to destroy people's lives because they're salty. That's it. If someone doesn't agree with you, you automatically hate them.
This footage and text, now in the hands of the commentator community, sparked the creation of a plethora of videos covering the situation. Many commentators focusing on Onision's request to chain Billy to a wall in the basement, having viewers speculate
Good
that
lord.
he wouldn't chain to his basement, and other theories of Onision's possible abuse. But observantly, the chances of this diminished as their house grew more barren, due to Lainey's and Sarah's acquaintance, Lynn, not to be confused with Lainey, threatened to release texts that displayed Sarah's interest in having a relationship with Lainey. Onision, getting in front of the potential scandal, created a video that he found Sarah's interest in Lainey unethical, and due to these feelings, reassured his audience that there would never be any sexual contact with Sarah at any point whatsoever.
About how Sarah didn't want Lane to release screenshots of some conversation they had, and it was just really awkward. So that freaked us out. I went and talked to Sarah, and Sarah admitted that she called / messaged this ex-friend, and I apologized to the ex-friend that Sarah had contacted her, and what was said made me super uncomfortable. And again, what Sarah actually said was her panicking about screenshots, which, you know, me personally, I don't panic about screenshots, because if something of mine got a screenshot and it doesn't make me look good, so be it. No, we gotta own our words. Apparently Sarah also stated to me, she remembered saying something about her one day being in a relationship with Lainey, and that was super confusing to me as I had made it clear to the public, as you've seen in previous videos, and I also made it clear repeatedly to Sarah that was never gonna happen. So seeing Sarah say these things really freaked me out. I mean, she's 16, I'm 31, this is creepy. And to rewind to the promise I made about not talking about friends, private issues publicly, the problem with this is that so much of this information is public, so I'm more than obligated to state what's going on, for the sake of, again, making sure.
Yeah, but you made it public, dude. Like, with a lot of the situations that you were in, you made it public. You didn't have to make it public. It could have been left private, but you still did it anyways because you wanted to control the narrative.
The truth is known, and people don't get weird ideas. Because again, I told everyone so many times, including Sarah, that there was no anything there, nothing. And just the idea that people think there is something, or even that Sarah may have thought that there would be something, that's just not okay, because there would not ever be something.
And to avoid further
Bullshit.
accusations, decided on sending Sarah home. But, unbeknownst to fans, Sarah, in the years following, visited several times in secret. His next controversy would not be related to his home life, but instead his constant video creation on the health of Eugenia Cooney. Many saying he is exploiting her situation. One such
He
commenter
was.
Jack and Glenn, that made a significant amount of videos criticizing Onision and had commented further on this situation.
So even though he said that was his final video on Eugenia, he's proceeded to make 2 more.
Hey there, I haven't made a video on Eugenia Cooney's weight in months. My videos on Eugenia Cooney always do very well.
For your bank account.
So as a person
For
who's
your
concerned
bank
about
account.
himself, and a person who wants to make successful videos, I'd like to take the opportunity to publicly check up on her now.
Yeah, only one of those 2 things are true.
Yeah.
Onision, looking as if he complied after Eugenia Cooney was more demanding in her request for Onision to stop. Him sending some requests for others to stop making videos about him via his self-written cease and desist letters. But the situation with Eugenia Cooney affected him very little. His money through these videos had already been made. Onision reaping a wealth of profit through the many controversies he created that brought even more attention to his channel.
Yeah.
But all this was about to change. It was around early 2017 when the adpocalypse, or rather the massive demonetization of videos and removal of advertisements, was sweeping throughout YouTube.
There we
due to
go.
Advertisements being placed on broad, controversial videos throughout the site.
A lot of people
hitting many
blame
content
PewDiePie
creators,
for that.
Including Onision. And like others, he created a Patreon, a fan donation service for an alternate source of revenue, where detractors estimated he made over $1 million a year in combined revenue.
You make a ton of money. You make on average over $1 million a year. I'm not stupid. Between all your channels and how much ad revenue you do, you make a lot of money.
Yeah.
A sizable amount, of course, coming from his Patreon. A Patreon found by Beck, a fan of Onision and Kai, that donated around $300 in between them and was flown out to see them. While there, she filmed several videos where Onision was acting sexually suggestive behind the scenes, but not limited to touching her buttocks and having lip-to-lip contact but not kissing, only for her to return home a few days later. Unrelated to this situation, and about 2 months later on October of 2017, Onision admits he has a hentai addiction.
As you guys know, I have had a issue with hentai. I'm talking like superhero hentai like Harley Quinn or just general cartoons of video game characters or whatever.
like Quiet from Metal Gear Solid. I've been into all these nude women from video games, from animes, etc., and it's become kind of an addiction for me. So recently, I just blurted it out. You know, I blurted it out to people in my life that I have this addiction, and I'm not proud of the addiction. And so, since then, I haven't had an issue. I haven't.
Bullshit.
Back to Onision's usual course of actions, like flying out women to potentially date Lainey or himself, came Maya, right before Christmas of 2017. But due to her sole interest in dating Lainey, and not Onision, meant that she flew home only a few days after arrival. Viewers witnessing the frequent visitation of young fans, trolls categorizing it all, and Onision responded by calling his largest detractors, or even content creators that made several videos on him, stalkers.
Because what the internet's doing right now is they're taking the side of someone who has made over 40 hate videos about me. Just really gross. Make you feel dirty after watching them. Videos. I'm saying this because they couldn't possibly make you feel nice, despite the fact that I've watched none of them, because again, I don't want to go into the world of people who are the types of individuals who make 20-minute long videos about people they don't like. Who in their right mind would want to sit down and watch that?
But
quite a few people
are taking a similar action by continuing to make videos on Eugenia Cooney. Eugenia Cooney on livestream talking about the increased negative attention to her due to his videos on her.
But yeah, I mean, already with like everything he kind of has said about me in the past, it's like it's kind of already put me in this position where there's already all these people that like hate me and people that are still always gonna I think not really be the biggest fans of me, which is fine, but kind of sucks sometimes.
After this livestream, Onision released what is believed to be his 23rd video on her. On the topic of unwarranted videos, a similar thing would happen 2 months later, when Shiloh's manager contacted Onision demanding he remove all videos involving Shiloh. Onision, being very defensive, recorded himself calling Shiloh's manager, saying that it was his property and she was paid by food.
Oh god, I forgot about this too. Yeah, you know, he did call the manager. And he thought that this would, like, make him look good. It didn't. It didn't whatsoever.
Counter. His hands visibly shaking throughout this conversation, with the frequency of his handshakes increasing when manager brings up the possibility of a lawsuit. The video ends with Onision cursing at the manager, who then hangs up, and Onision, as he usually does, proclaiming he was right in the matter. This video was uploaded
He was not.
briefly taken down, as Onision had violated Washington State's wiretap laws by recording the conversation and displaying it without Shiloh's manager's consent.
Yeah.
Though this may have been a setback, Onision still had many plans for the future, some involving Sarah, and had discussed with Lainey for her to move in again once she turned 18, but still visited when she was 17. And throughout her visits, just as Onision had done with various women before, he slowly and methodically introduced the idea of Sarah and Lainey being in a relationship, further escalating the ideology a few days after she turned 18, leading to her leaving once more. But his focus was soon shifted to something else known as Onision versus the wetlands.
Oh god.
He able to film Onision modifying the wetlands by his house, which is a protected environment. Then recorded Onision's compact front end.
Yeah, he basically, so he thought it'd be smart to basically trying to renovate a bunch of wetlands near his property, which was protected by the state. And this caused him to be sued and held accountable for the cost of any repairs or, if anything, to reestablish, you know, proper environment for the wetlands.
I reported it.
What's today's date? August 10th, 5 p.m. 2016, 18. All the metadata is in the video right now.
Good lord.
So category 2 wetland. There's a 100-foot buffer from the edge of the wetland for development. Need a permit at the very least, and mitigation for clearing.
A wetlands biologist then contacts Onision and informs him what he's doing requires a permit, which Onision doesn't have. To determine if Onision had in fact violated the county's wetland protection laws, the biologist pays him a visit and examines the site Onision is working on. It is then determined that he was in violation. Then, on September 6, Onision is sent a notice to correct the destruction and stop all work until he receives a permit. Undetermined to stop, Onision then files an appeal with the county saying that he was removing noxious weeds and that the county legally searched his property. And with this appeal, a court date was set for December 6 for Onision and Lainey to attend, or rather, Onision and Kai, as Lainey had changed their name once more. But they did not attend the court hearing, and the appeal was thrown out, which no doubt makes things more difficult for Onision. But even with all this happening, he still found time to publish his third fictional, non-fiction inspired book, Reaper's Creek.
Oh god, that book. That book was trash, too.
These problems most likely occurred by Sarah, who came to visit on Christmas of 2018, possibly the last truly profitable year he would have in quite some time. As of around the start of 2019, it was revealed that Onision, along with having to pay to correct the wetlands, owed a significant amount of money to the IRS. It was rumored that he sold one of his houses, cars, and several other assets after misfiling taxes and claiming much more than he should have, which is when he launched his $100,000 Kickstarter campaign to make adjustments to the wetlands. The commentary community and now the massive trolling community berated his campaign, only for him to remove it and say the campaign was a joke. This situation, like many
Dude, this was so insane.
Onision, in return, mentioning him exponentially in his videos, causing much discourse between the two.
Yeah, freaking just like with everything that he's done. I mean, with every every decision he makes, it always just got him deeper and deeper in trouble. Like, no joke.
And right now, the internet is very, very outraged. Primarily due
That's funny. Like, he called it yard work.
to a man named...
He tried to call it yard work.
Hi, Greg. That's me.
Mr. Repsian made a lengthy video showing documents that, you know, you really have to search to find. They aren't just like...
Not really.
presented to everybody as a standard pamphlet that's passed out or anything like that. You really have to, like, look into someone's business to figure out what's going on.
No.
Wrong, Greg. No, I do not have to
It's
look into
public
somebody's
record.
business. I'm not sure if you're aware, but every state in the United States of America has small little district counties. I'm in the county called King County of Washington State, which encompasses Seattle, Kent, Federal Way, Tacoma, so on and so forth. And every state has these counties. And in the counties, there are courthouses, and in the courthouses where legal things are done, there is what is known public record.
Yeah,
This was
public
fueled by
record.
the accusations by detractors that Onision slept with Sarah. Onision responding by coercing Sarah to make a video saying that they haven't had sexual contact.
Yeah, he did coerce her.
My name is Sarah, and recently I've seen some allegations against my friend Kai regarding me. And I just came to make my statement since I see a lot of people talking for me, but...
This video
they're
was
saying that
just
we
sick.
had sexual conversations, or were planning on having sexual relations when I was underage, and...
Just the idea,
we never
like
did.
the idea of like
I don't know why
Onision,
people
like
are now saying
before
this
this,
and bringing up old screenshots
telling
that aren't
her
addressed.
to,
But Kai is one of
you
the
know,
sweetest people I
say
know, and
these
he doesn't
things.
deserve this, and it's not fair to me, and it's not fair to him, and I wish this would all stop.
Deleted from previous video.
Onision making his own video reiterating the point.
And that's just the thing. You guys have this concept of grooming, right? But that requires you have sex with somebody right after they turn 18.
No.
And the person you guys are talking about has been 18 for a while. And we've hung out with him multiple times.
It's been widely debated in terms of like what counts as grooming. I mean,
sex with them, never made out with them, or whatever. As an adult. And prior. Never.
This situation, like many others, saw Onision hammering down the ideology of him being the most honest YouTuber.
You know who cares about
he's no, he's not the most honest.
Yes, the most honest YouTuber card. Let's listen to a song, shall we?
You know who has to point out that they're about to be really honest? People who aren't normally honest.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Onision, the most honest YouTuber, or maybe one of the most honest YouTubers. I don't know of anyone more.
I love this.
I'm one of the most honest YouTubers, if not the most honest YouTuber. Some people consider
I'm the most honest YouTuber.
One of the most honest YouTubers on the internet. The most honest YouTuber.
He's not.
But many people finding contradictions in his statement of honesty by pointing out his widespread deletion of videos. Some videos that have strong evidence of his wrongdoings. And only 2 days after posting the video stating that he did not have sexual relations with Sarah, Onision, Kai, and Sarah all had sexual intercourse together. Sarah being thrown out a couple more times throughout the year for this purpose. But the hate building up around him was too much, and threatened to sue his largest detractor, Repsian, if he did not remove all the videos on Onision
Jesus
within 72
Christ.
hours of his notice. And with Repsian not complying, begins Onision's planned litigation. His paranoia showing when he changed his name for a third time in April of 2019. But other issues continue to pop up, like
Yeah,
his
he
channel,
changed
where
his name a
usually
lot.
get well over 100,000 to 1 million views a video in the past. Now, he wasn't even pulling 10,000 views for the majority of his uploads,
Yeah.
relying on frequently mentioning the ever so popular Shane Dawson or Eugenia Cooney to hopefully get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. Onision was in debt, out of touch with his audience, and had very little to no support, and this showed, marking an undeniable low point and downfall of his online career. But he was still pulling money from other areas, and not just from his Patreon, which earlier in the year was making him around $2,000 a month, but also his frequent content ID claims on videos about him. No matter what the channel, the situation, or even the size, if any channel showed footage of him, he would content ID claim it through YouTube, and if this content ID claim was not disputed, allowed him to make money from many of these videos criticizing him. Onision then choosing to strike down those videos.
That was the big thing too. Is like he literally would take people's content,
his life and attention on him.
people that were commenting on
All
him.
because of this one tweet. A tweet by Isla stating Onision had slept with Sarah.
He would try to take it and make money off of those videos.
Accused her of blackmail, but this constant harassment of Sarah, Isla, Billy, Shiloh, and many more via emails and texts came back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Helped corroborate their statements against him. This story slowly gaining massive traction about Onision's alleged abuse. First signal boosted by
Yeah,
YouTube
a lot of
content
people
creator Blair White
were,
with an interview with
you
Sarah
know,
discussing what happened.
right.
A little bit about the NDA that you signed. You told me off camera that you signed an NDA the morning after you were intimate with them for the first time.
Yeah.
Freaking Blair White
He
in
and
her
decided
coverage
that
on this.
everyone in their life needed to sign an NDA, and that I was no exception to that. The NDA was 1,000% for me to not do what I'm doing right now.
Repsian releasing his own take on the situation with hard video evidence of Onision's actions. Both these videos receiving well over 1 million views each. But
Yep.
this was just the beginning of this escalation of attention to him. On October 16th, famous interviewer Chris Hansen from the
Oh,
MCC's
my
early
least
2000 show,
favorite
Can't
thing.
Further, began conversing with online content creators about Onision
Again,
and the allegations being brought against
this
him.
could have been
Chris
done a
Hansen
little
then
bit better.
reached out to Onision for an
This-
interview, but Onision declined the proposition.
this
and so began Chris Hansen's
whole
systematic interview of Onision's ex-guests,
documentary
starting with
could have
Sarah
been done
in
better
2019, unearthing her secret
in
visitation,
terms of
and that
like
various other
how
women
it
visiting
was
Onision
presented
had
to
similar
people,
stories, like when Onision, whether purposely or
and
not,
ultimately,
showed Onision's career by
you know,
distancing
some
from
of
the
the
manager and
choices in terms of who was brought on, because there were quite a few people that had limited to no like actual interaction in terms of this this situation.
FBI investigation. And to make things worse for Onision, this never before seen 2011 footage of Onision throwing candy corn at a docile Shiloh further provoked fans.
It hurts a lot, actually.
This video's never gonna be online, right? No one will ever know how much I abuse you. It's ridiculous that you think you're successful. How many times do I have to tell you? You think
This,
you're online because of you?
I saw this video a while back. This so sickens me. This is such a sickening video.
Hey, open your mouth. Open your mouth. Open your mouth.
Fucking dick.
No, Craig, I don't mind it.
Open your mouth.
I don't mind it, Craig. Ow! Ow, that one really, really hurt. Craig, I'm
Oh,
wearing
that candy cord
shorts.
hurt. That candy cord really hurt, Greg. The candy cord was like a razor blade. The candy cord hurt, Greg.
Onision claimed that this footage is simply an unaired skit, but failed to convince furious onlookers,
Bullshit.
claiming that they harassed Onision in any way they could, while also attempting to hurt him financially. And on November 26, 2019, they were given the ammunition to do so, when on Twitter, Onision accidentally doxed Billy's phone number while showing text demonstrating that if Billy was ever pregnant with Onision's child, he would completely support her. And doxing being against Patreon's rules saw Onision's Patreon removed from the site. Onision then uploading a video to Onision Speaks titled "Wow," where he becomes extremely aggravated on camera and addresses the removal.
These
of
are all
feeding
fake
off two habits. Firstly, his
fake
constant removal of
freakouts.
like-to-dislike ratio and filtering and or disabling comments. With this video netting him well over 1 million views, he started his second habit of constant overly exaggerated freakout videos, providing him millions of views.
That didn't
and
last him
reinvigorating
long,
his own
though.
channel by creating self-deprecating videos he knew those furious at him would watch, which helped promote OnisionFans.com, which was his alternative to Patreon, which like Patreon was also taken down. With Onision trending on YouTube and declining Chris Hansen's interview, Chris Hansen decides to be more active about the situation and along with the camera crew shows up to Onision's house expecting an interview.
Oh my
Onision calls
gosh.
the police, providing us with this 911 call.
911, what are you reporting?
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online and they just showed up at my house.
What's your address? And they're outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay. And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
Okay. But no weapons seen?
I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like 6 guys in my driveway and one of them knocking on my door.
Okay, 1 second here. And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said isn't stalking you?
Yes, he's a stalker. He's yelling.
Good God.
Things that make you the door now.
Okay, and do we know his name at all?
It's Chris Hansen.
Are you able to see what he's wearing or no?
You know, that should have been like, I think the operator should have like asked the very question of like, wait, Chris Hansen, you mean Chris Hansen from like To Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen? That would have been hilarious.
I think he's wearing a black jacket.
Okay.
I have a security camera.
Uh-huh. Can you see what color pants?
He's wearing a black jacket, black pants. His hair is gray. Still yelling things at me through the door.
Okay, black jacket, black pants. Can you hear what he's yelling?
No.
Okay.
Oh, he's saying, I want your side of the story, Greg. My name's not even Greg.
Okay. What is your last name?
My name's James Jackson.
Okay.
Your name was Greg.
Is that correct?
Yeah, he's saying I just want to talk through the door.
Okay. Okay, do you have any weapons in the home, James?
No, I don't.
Okay. And you said that there's roughly 5 more people there with cameras?
Yes, in the driveway.
Okay. And do you know what he's talking about, like why he was stalking you or anything like that?
Yeah, there's like a... It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the driveway.
Jesus Christ.
But I haven't, someone that there's an 18, no, I think they're 19, a 19-year-old who I didn't want to hang out with. I didn't want to be around them. They have BPD, and their stuff was, their mental disorder was like really affecting my life.
I can only imagine the operator's reaction to all this.
They went to this person and said a bunch of mean things about me, and so now this person's trying to, like, aggressively pursue me in a really hateful way as a result.
Okay, so you said they're from YouTube though, so is it like a show that they do, or?
It's a live stream. Yeah, I've already talked to a lawyer about slander and stuff, but that's really, really hateful towards me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you able to see what type of vehicle they arrived in?
No, they parked way down the street, which is really tragic.
Okay.
This was so pathetic. It really was.
Okay. We're working on getting units out there as quickly as we can. Just go ahead and keep your doors locked. Do you feel comfortable disconnecting the line until we arrive? And then if anything changes, calling us back?
It should be fine. We're just hiding away from the windows.
Okay. If anything changes before we arrive, please call us back, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good God.
Called on a separate occasion when Onision's child fell out of his 2-story window and cracked her head open.
Oh, I forgot about this, too.
On grounds of harassment and stalking, takes Chris Hansen and Repsion to court. Repsion for a protective order, which Onision almost immediately dismisses. And for Chris Hansen, well, served the wrong Chris Hansen.
Yeah,
and had to
he
dismiss
did.
that as well.
To the service issue, I don't find that there is service on the property business. And I'm interpreting your statement to the
But a boon of the situation was the various court photos displaying Onision a peculiar yet a comedic choice of clothing, including a bulletproof vest, sunglasses, and a beanie. These photos were widely distributed, showing to us that what we are left with is a perceived manic manipulator using his craft to further prolong the life of his channel. Though he lost the support of the public, he may still thrive, though that does not discount the various accusations brought against him. To many, Onision is a relic of a bygone age, grasping at anything that will give him relevance, constantly scrubbing the internet and his own history to forcibly change the perception on him. But to himself, he's a profiteer, creating several controversies only to claim those videos discussing him and reap their revenue. He proclaims his innocence and honesty, yet strikes down mostly anyone he feels that speaks negative about him.
Yep.
Backed by a long stream of fans turned enemies of Onision. With all this negative
Onision was a creep and a copyright abuser.
It may not be today, but one day, Onision will be scrubbed of any relevancy and left to live within his own thoughts with nobody to listen to them. This may very well be Onision's final act, a drawn-out swan song with only a predictable conclusion, and that is his slow, yet painful, fade from the internet.
Yep. Well, I will say that was a good video. Good lord, this was a interesting reaction too. But no, yeah, there's a lot of history in terms of that guy. A lot of controversy. A lot of people hurt by this individual, and yeah, eventually, I mean, as time has progressed and the controversies have built up, I mean, he slowly kind of became irrelevant. So anyway, I think for now I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, it's all in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys next video.